Hello and welcome to another Big Orbit Games unboxing video. I'm Chris and today we'll be looking at Rivals of Ixalan Planeswalker decks. This one is Vraska, the Scheming Gorgon, which weirdly is a vampire deck. So lead the Vampires of Ixalan to victory. So in the pack you get a full 60 card deck that's ready to play with, 2 boosters, deck box, the insert and the quick reference guide. All of which are very useful. So let's get cracking. Must get into pack. Wow, I absolutely destroyed that one. It's only fair, I've had some good ones recently and that one was just awful. So let's see if I can get this out. I'm still not a fan of this packaging. Because it damages the cards. Come on, Vraska. There's got to be an easy way to get these out without damaging the cards. Because this one just does not want to come out. Okay, there it goes. So, Vraska, the Scheming Gorgon. Let's just check if it's actually a little bit damaged on the top corner. Oh well. Yeah. So Vraska Scheming Gorgon, 6 mana, 5 loyalty Planeswalker. The Planeswalkers all have legendary Planeswalker on them now because they changed the legend rule with Planeswalkers, so you can have multiple Planeswalkers as long as they don't have the exact same name. So Super Friends became better, sort of. Yeah, so she's a 5 loyalty Planeswalker. Her +2 is creatures you control get +1/+0 until end of turn. A little bit lackluster, but you're going to need to use it to get the loyalty tokens on her. Her -3 is destroy target creature, which is not too bad. And her -10 is until end of turn, creatures you control gain death touch, and whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent, that player loses the game. Yeah, I mean the -10, pretty good. That last line especially, if it deals combat damage to an opponent, that player loses the game. Actually, it's just whenever this creature deals damage to an opponent. It doesn't say combat damage. Wait a minute. So you can just ping them with a silly, like, tap it to deal 1 damage effect, and they lose. That's stupid. But it is -10, and she's never going to get there. If you do get there, you deserve to win with that. Because I mean, everyone's just going to be aiming straight at Vraska to stop that -10 from going off. But yeah, I mean, it seems pretty good. And I am thinking more from like a commander perspective, in that something can just deal 1 random damage to an opponent. So here is our strategy insert thingy. Gives you a bit of information about Vraska, about playing the deck. So Vraska leads an armada of powerful vampires, a legion of fierce allies who can draw upon the very life force of your enemies. Use Vraska to assassinate key creatures while you build up your army, then launch a flying attack to evade your opponent's defenses and deliver a final deadly blow. So lots of vampires in this deck that have flying by the sounds of it, and lifelink. So we've got our 2 Rivals of Ixalan packs. We'll crack those at the end, see what we get, see if we can improve on this deck. I will probably need the knife again for this. Ugh. These are not the easiest quick open packs in the world. Alright, so we've got our quick reference sheet, which honestly, best thing in the pack, hands down for new players. Purely because it has this on it. So the parts of a turn, whenever I'm teaching someone to play, I always use this. So it just tells you what all the phases are. They don't even need to read too much into it, like you don't need to read every single step there, but it is useful to, after the first few games, to go back through it and read the exact anatomy. So yeah, really useful guide, and it also shows you like the mana costs and tapping and stuff like that. So great for new players. All right, on to the deck itself anyway. Oh, and here's our deck box with the lovely Vraska on it, and it says Vraska on it, and it's purple, which makes it good. So Champion of Dusk, I do like this card actually. So a 5 mana 4/4, when it enters the battlefield, draw X cards and you lose X life, where X is the number of vampires you control. If you have like 3 or 4 vampires, including this, draw 3 or 4 cards. I mean, that's worth 1 mana easily, if you're thinking of like a 4 mana 5/5, which would be sort of baseline. So you're paying 1 mana to draw a bunch of cards and lose a little bit of life. It's really good. And just gives you extra fuel late in the game as well to just push that extra damage through as well. So Vraska's Scorn, Planeswalker pack only card. 4 mana sorcery. Target opponent loses 4 life. You may search your library and or graveyard for a card named Vraska, Scheming Gorgon, reveal it, put it into hand, shuffle library, blah blah blah. It's essentially like, this is actually fairly interesting because it's target opponent loses 4 life rather than deal 4 damage. So the wording on that is important. It's an interesting one. I mean, it's just like 4 life tutor for Vraska. Yeah. That is weirdly damaged there. Not really sure if you can see that, but there is a big kind of hole in that card. Paladin of Atonement. It's a 2 mana 1/1 at the beginning of your upkeep. If you lost life last turn, put a +1/+1 counter on Paladin of Atonement. When it dies, you gain life equal to its toughness. Yeah, I mean, if you play Champion of Dusk and lose a life to draw a card, on your opponent's upkeep, you get to put a +1/+1 counter on this. So, quite nice. Bishop of the Bloodstained. When it's a 5 mana 3/3 Vampire Cleric. When it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life for each vampire you control. Yeah, I mean, if you're going wide with your vampires and you have lots of the 1/1 tokens, yeah, your opponent just immediately loses, I don't know, 10 life or something. Fairly good. Deathless Ancient, 6 mana 4/4 flying vampire. You can tap 3 untapped vampires you control, return it from your graveyard to your hand. This is a very go wide sort of deck, so you should be able to get this effect off if he's already dead. And a 6 mana 4/4 flyer is just good. Dust Legion Zealot, 2 mana 1/1. When it enters the battlefield, you draw a card and lose 1 life. Again, combos with the Paladin, so quite nice. And card draw. Queensbay Soldier, 2 mana 2/2 with the Vampire Soldier tag. Skymarch Bloodletter, 3 mana 2/2 with flying. Already solid, but when it enters the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life, so drain them for 1 on a 2/2 flyer for 3. It's nice. Vampire Champion, 4 mana 3/3. This is another Planeswalker pack only card. So 4 mana 3/3 with Death Touch. Nice. I mean, normally you want your Death Touch on kind of lower power and toughness creatures, whereas this is sort of a mid-gamey creature, but still, Death Touch is good. Vicious Conquistador, 1 mana 1/2. Whenever it attacks, each opponent loses 1 life. Solid card. Vraska's Conquistador, another Planeswalker pack card. 2 mana 2/1. Vampire Soldier. Whenever it attacks or blocks, if you control a Vraska Planeswalker, target opponent loses 2 life and you gain 2 life. Yeah, I mean, the fact that it attacks or blocks, that's really good. Draining for 2 as long as you control the Vraska Planeswalker. Yeah, good card. And then we have Exultant Skymarcher, 3 mana 2/3 flyer. Solid. Famished Paladin, 2 mana 3/3. It doesn't untap during your untap step, but whenever you gain life, untap him. It's actually quite good in this deck, I think. There's so much life gain, or life link, or just drain effects or whatever. He will untap quite frequently. So, obviously getting a good deal, 2 mana for a 3/3. There is downside, but it can be mitigated, so it's pretty good. Inspiring Cleric, 3 mana, 3/2, when it enters the battlefield, gain 4 life. Speaking of life gain. Skyblade of the Legion, 2 mana, 1/3 flyer. Yeah, I mean, it has flying, and your vampires are going to get bigger, probably. So, Legion Lieutenant, speaking of vampires getting bigger. Legion Lieutenant, so 1 white and a black for a 2/2 Anthem effect. So, other vampires you control get +1/+1. Just excellent card. If you can find more of these to put in this deck, I would recommend doing so. And then a pair of Gilded Sentinels, which are going to be the first thing that get cut, to be honest. Then our mana base, we've got a playset of Forsaken Sanctuary, which could be replaced by like the Kaladesh Fast lands or the Ixalan check lands, if you wanted like dual lands that are slightly better. Because these are solid because they tap for 2 colours, but they do come in tapped, so not amazing. And then you've got a bunch of swamps and a bunch of plains. And then onto our instants and sorceries. Moment of Craving, target creature gets -2/-2 until end of turn. You gain 2 life. This is a really solid card in this deck. -2/-2 is actually very relevant at the moment because rather than dealing damage to something, you're just lowering its power and toughness to kill it. And there's quite a few things if you can get 2 of those out on a Hazoret. For instance, you're doing well. Recover, and especially because you'll be gaining 4 life. Recover is return target creature from your graveyard to your hand and draw a card. Pretty good in this deck, I think. Bright Reprisal, 5 mana to destroy target attacking creature and draw a card. Little expensive for what it does, but you are drawing a card, and it doesn't specify a power level for that creature, so it's just any creature. I mean, fairly solid. It's better than some of the similar effect cards that have come out in the past. Moment of Triumph, 1 white for a pretty good combat trick of getting +2/+2 and gaining 2 life until end of turn. Not until end of turn. Yeah. The +2/+2 is until end of turn, and the 2 life is permanent until you lose it again. I'll get there in the end, honestly. So yeah. Overall, I mean, it's a pretty solid deck. It's got a decent theme. The win condition is a bit weird because there's not much token generation, if any token generation. So you're relying on your creatures actually surviving. And you've only got like the recursion of a couple of creatures, so there's definitely room for improvement with it, and hopefully we'll see something that's useful. Definitely not that though, or that. Moment of Triumph, you probably don't want too many combat tricks in the deck, so having 2 of these and like 2 Moment of Cravings already, you might not want to put a 3rd in, but it's possibly worth looking at. Fathom Fleet Border, it's the right colours but the wrong tribe. You want to pretty much keep everything as vampires because everything works with your other vampires. Other than that, he's a solid card. Fanatical Firebrand, Jade Bearer, to the Anomalies of Crowns. Squire's Devotion is an interesting one. 3 mana to enchant a creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has lifelink, so that's actually fairly relevant. And when it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white vampire creature token with lifelink. I actually think this could be a good inclusion. The power level of the Planeswalker decks aren't supposed to be like really, really high. They're not supposed to be like, you take them to a PPTQ and win. But this could go in. It's not an amazing card, but it generates a token. It gives a creature +1/+1 and lifelink, so you can get 2 for 1 if they kill that creature that is enchanted. You lose the enchantment and the creature, but you've also gained a different permanent, so it's slightly sort of offset. But that's a good one to put in. Majestic Heliopterus, right colours, wrong tribe again, Forerunner of the Coalition. If that was the other Forerunner, that would be better, but this is Tutor for a Pirate. Excellent card though. Pirate's Pillage and Brass Bounty is the rare, which is completely wrong colour. But never mind. Let's crack this second pack and hope for something more useful. The Legendary Vampire would be awesome, to be honest. So let's hope for that. Raptor Companion, again, wrong tribe. Impale, Destruction, like creature destruction. You could just throw that in. Like some proper removal rather than little combat tricks and things like that. It might be useful. Retro Throwback, Retro Raptor, Hunt the Weak, Gruesome Fate. If you're going wide, this could be an alright one. It's a shame it doesn't drain, but never mind. Swaggering Corsair, Snubhorn Sentry, Retro Relic, Aquatic Incursion, Stone Quarry, Stormfleet Swashbuckler, and Seafloor Oracle. So unfortunately nothing really for us in these packs, other than, you know, a couple of, a kill spell, which is always good to have. So the Seafloor Oracle, whenever a Merfolk you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. Good card, apart from it's another 4-drop from Merfolk, but never mind. Yeah, I mean, it's a shame we didn't get anything really good in the pack, in the 2 boosters, to add into the deck. But still, it's a solid little deck. Things like the Legendary Vampire, it begins with E, can't remember her name, from this set. She'd be great to put in it. Something that generates like vampire tokens would be excellent as well. Yeah, just anything that can work with like Vraska's +2, so giving creatures you control +1/+0 until end of turn, so you can swing in for more, gain some more life or whatever, and then you've got your little combos in there with Paladin of Atonement. Those would be a great inclusion, like another 1 or 2 of, maybe another Champion of Dusk if you get one. So yeah, it has potential. And remember, you can buy and sell any of the cards you've seen in this video on our website, bigorbitcards.co.uk. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to stay updated with future videos. Keep an eye out for all the Rivals of Ixalan videos that will be coming out as well. And we shall see you again in the next video. Bye bye.